Hello and welcome to today's Business Spotlight, where we are joined by Nick Baker of Baker Baker Recruitment. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Hi, morning, Hannah. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Yeah, all is good.
Nick, if I'm being honest. So let's dive straight in. Tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it for, please.
So I run a recruitment company, which mainly specializes within the sort of automotive and engineering sectors. But we have got another pillar to the business, which is very much sort of executive search and headhunting and that side. And the business itself has been going for pretty much bang on 3 years. It was our birthday on the 13th of November. So yeah, it's we've managed to get through the tough stages, and here we are now, still going.
Happy birthday, 13th of November. 3 years is quite a mile. Congratulate you on that. What
Thank you.
made you, why the automotive and engineering sector? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I've been in recruitment now for just over 25 years, and it's pretty much been centered around the automotive engineering sector. So I've worked for a few businesses up until the stage that I started my own company, see, a few years ago, and my networks and connections have pretty much been centered around that. So yeah, just kept within that industry and enjoy recruiting for it, because there's some wonderful products out there, some great companies, some fantastic people that we've worked with, and wanted to continue that. So yeah, got a bit of a passion for it, and yeah, the background is within automotive, so it makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. What motivated you to start your own business?
Well, it was actually 2020, which I know we all say with COVID, and we all went into lockdowns and furloughs and all that sort of thing. So it was a tough time for pretty much everybody, and I was made redundant from the company that I was employed by at that time, which was tough to take. And I thought, right, what am I going to do? Shall I continue within working for somebody else, or should I look at perhaps starting something myself and creating a business? And it was actually talking to family members who really sort of said, look, I think this is a great opportunity for you to go alone and really try it out. And fortunately, that was something that I decided to go with, and took the leap. It was scary. A few people sort of like, well, it's a ridiculous time to start your own business. We're in COVID. Where are you going to get all these clients from? And you're probably going to be back, working for another company within a few months. And I just thought, well, if I don't do it now, I don't think I would ever do it. So it was really, yeah, as I say, leap of faith and a bit of a jump into the unknown. But yeah, touch wood. Obviously, fortunately, we're still going and growing strength by strength, which is great. So
No, that is great. COVID has a lot to answer for, doesn't it? It's created some real silver linings. And is there ever a right time to start a business?
probably not. A lot of people would say. Yeah, it's the same with many things, isn't it? It's never a good time to be out of work, but yeah, people sort of see Christmas as a bad time to be out from a job, because you think, oh, all my costs are going to go up and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's similar. Yeah, with a business, you're right. There's too many excuses not to do it, but I've seen actually more and more people do it over the years and not look back. Not look back, and that goes with myself as well. It's yeah, I don't regret it, and yeah, it's given me the joy of being able to work with who I want to, and obviously that bit of work-life balance as well, which is fantastic.
Well, that leads very nicely into my next question, actually, because you've covered a few points there, but has it been everything that you hoped it would be?
I think it has. Yeah, it, in the early days, it was really tough because I don't want to talk too much about COVID, but we also had the homeschooling elements as well. And with two young children at the time, there was me trying to start a business. My wife was working full time with her employer, and it was juggling trying to set up a business and obviously working with kids on their iPads, trying to do homeschooling and that sort of thing. So it was really tough at that time. And I thought, oh God, what have I done here? I'm not getting an income yet, and I'm having to homeschool. And one thing I don't want to be as a teacher, obviously no disrespect, they are wonderful people, but I couldn't do it, particularly for my own children as well. But as things progressed into sort of January, February of that year of 2021, establish more clients, more networks, and from there it's just kind of grown. We of course go through tough patches as every business does, but the great thing is that I've got two employees now who are full time. They can take on a bit more of the pressures, and obviously that's helped massively as well. So it's kind of gone from that. Do I want it to be a lifestyle? Is it just me? Do I want to earn enough to keep us going? Or do I want to sort of turn it into a business? And that was one question that somebody asked me early on: work out what you want to do. And yeah, it's sort of formulated more into a business, which is fantastic. So yeah, it has been what I expected, which is brilliant.
Oh no, good, good. It's important we often say begin with the end in mind, so that we know what we're building.
Yes, absolutely. And someone I sort of said, I'll probably give it a go for, I don't know, I'll give it a go for 6 months and see how it comes out. And actually they said that's the wrong that's the wrong way to think. You can't think give it 6 months and then you'll go back into something else. You've got to be looking way further than that. And yeah, it's fortunately that stuck in my mind as well.
That's some great advice. That's some great advice. Tell me a little bit more about Baker and Baker Recruitment. What makes you stand out in the industry?
So I think for us, it's really it's such a relationship industry, such a relationship business, and we massively care about the candidates and the clients, and just having that strong communication with people, keeping people regularly updated, and really sort of having that strength of knowledge as well within the industry, because there's myself obviously with 25 years of working within recruitment and automotive. One of my team, he's got over 30 years experience of the same. So we just almost, some people sort of say you're like a boutique agency, you just look after people, and that's what it's about. It's making sure people have got a great journey throughout, from sending their CV to us to going for the submittal process, the interview process, offer, hiring, that side of things. We take them through that journey, and we care about the outcome. So I think that's what it's about. There's a lot of companies out there that are huge, they're massive, they do great jobs, but there's not that personalized service, and that's what we're about. It's sort of that care and attention, really.
Yeah, communication is the key of the thread that I heard there was that keeping everybody up to date, to show that you care. It's difficult to show somebody that you care, isn't it? When you hear that sentence, you feel like, well, everybody cares. So what is it? What sort of what's your magic sauce when it comes to showing people that you really care?
I think it's just that we know people have, again, going through tough times. There's a lot of companies at the moment that have gone through closures or gone into administration, and people have been made redundant. And obviously, having gone through it, you sort of think, oh God, they don't like me. I'm not right. I suddenly feel that I'm not as good an engineer as I was, or perhaps I'm not as experienced as I thought I was. And it's not that at all. It's the fact that the company's just not got the funding, or you have been doing a great job, but they just need to cut costs, and that job's not required anymore. And what we're about is making sure that, you know, it's giving them the time and the effort to talk to them, find out what they want to do next within their career path. Do they want to do something the same? Do they want to do something a little bit different? So it's gaining a lot of information from them, and then finding something that is the right fit for them moving forward. And it's just taking time with people as well. I've done it in the past. I've been a bit perhaps slapdash in the way I've recruited, and thought, right, I'll speak to this person and have a quick conversation. I'll put them forward and hope for the best. But now it's as I say, it's just making sure that people are given that time, and it's going back to the communication side of things as well, just keeping regularly updated and knowing what people want out of, you know, their career journey and that side of things.
Yeah, so important. What would you say that you could attribute your growth to, Nick?
Well, that's a tricky one. I think it's just down to, I mean, it's hard work, and of course you need to put the hard work in. I think when you're starting any business, you really need to be fully embedded in it. You need to be invested in it. You need to have the right people around you, and that's friends, that's family. I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce, which has been great because you can feed off them a lot. And obviously going to sort of the networking events and with them, and obviously likewise with yourselves as well, with the owners network. So it's making sure that you've got the strength and backing behind you, but you've got the enthusiasm to want to do it. If you don't want to do something, then it's really not going to work. So I think it's definitely, and having a good plan as well. You need to make sure that you've structured that in the right way, and you try and follow that as much as possible. But for me, it's, you've got to be talking to people. You need to be, you know, out there and making sure that you're getting the right advice and guidance as well moving forward, because it is an unknown entity. You know, I've worked for other people. I've been in meetings where I'm not controlling that meeting, other people are, but suddenly it's, the onus is on you, and it's up to you, you know, what you do moving forward and how you want to run it.
Yeah, and stepping up. You mentioned there about plan. How do you plan, and how do you keep yourself on track with the plan?
So yeah, with any planning, you need to make sure you set that time aside, and obviously, yeah, sometimes that can be over a weekend. I do try and keep weekends to sort of family time and that side of thing, but that you do need to sometimes think, right, what am I going to do this week? And if it's a case of 45 minutes on a Sunday afternoon, sit there and think, right, what have I got going on this week, and making sure that you set, yeah, what you're going to be doing. And obviously I spent way more time than that when I first set up the business. I was spending hours and days and weeks just mapping everything out and having a clear structure there. And okay, sometimes things may change or differ or whatever, but I think you just need to make sure you've got that clear process, and you need to try and push to getting that, you know, positive conclusion. So yeah, that's sort of what I would say.
No, that's a great, thank you. How do you transfer or communicate your plan to your, that's a challenge that business owners often have, with that the perception of what the team thinks the business plan is, and then what the business owner believes the business plan is.
Sorry, Hannah, you cut out then. I completely missed that question.
Sorry, Nick, not a problem. No, I was just my question was on the planning. So it's great that you have the that you set aside for planning. How do you communicate that with your team and make sure that you're both aligned so that you're working in the same direction? It's a challenge that a lot of business owners have, so some insight would be amazing.
Yeah, I think it's back to that communication side of things. It's regular regular conversations with the team, and making sure that you're all singing from the same hymn sheet. And ultimately, as the business owner, it's getting across to them exactly where we need to be, what we need to do, and having everything in place from that perspective. But for me, because there's sort of, well, there's four of us in the business, if you include my wife, who's also involved with the sort of marketing side. For the three of us that are on the ground and recruiting, we do work very collaboratively. We all know exactly what's going on. We share loads of information, and really we all know what we're up to as well, so we can keep the feelers out for people, for them. If one of my team's working on a role, we know exactly what role that is. So it's just, as I say, it's just down to that, regular updates, regular communication, and all going in the same direction.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you, Nick. You mentioned there about some time on a weekend taken for planning, albeit you do attempt to have that as family time. I love this question because I've had a different answer for every single time, and that is, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Oh, yeah, it can be difficult. It's sometimes it's great because it gets to, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock on a Friday, and you've hit a brick wall, and you just think, right, no, I need to shut the laptop down, and that's it for the day. I'm going to go and muck about with the kids, or go and collect the kids from school, or something like that. I think for me, it is tough to break away from it because it's constantly on your mind. It is a business that we ultimately kind of feeds the family in a way. So we obviously need to be on it, and make sure we're sort of fully up to speed with everything. I have been fortunate in that generally weekends I can completely shut away from it. I'm not going to lie, I do check my phone. I do sort of look at LinkedIn and check the emails and that sort of thing, but it's very rare that I'll be making phone calls, and certainly I don't think I've spoken to any, if not many, clients on a Saturday and Sunday. So I think it's really sort of, I've got into that mindset of, weekends I do shut off. But there have been times, obviously, during the working week, Monday to Friday, I have scheduled calls 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. But that's sort of the industry we're in. People aren't available to talk at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm sitting at my desk, because they're in meetings all day. So I've got to schedule the time to be able to talk to them, because they could be the next hire for us. So I think I am sort of getting there. I am balancing things as best as possible, but it can be tough. I'm not going to lie. It does play on your mind, and you think, oh God, should I really make that call, or should I go and make dinner for something like that? But it's a fine balance. But I think with this time of year, obviously with Christmas, I always say to people that the Christmas week tends to be the only time I can really shut away from it, because all the clients I work with are pretty much off. Candidates don't really like to be called, during that week. Although it's probably the best time to speak to them, but you almost feel guilty because it's family time and Christmas time and that sort of thing. But certainly that Christmas week will be time that for me to really sort of shut off. But
looking forward to some downtime imminently then.
hopefully.
I hear flexible boundaries is key to your success here. Nick, what would you say has been your biggest learning? 25 years of experience, but particularly in the 3 years that you've had the business.
Biggest learning in terms of what, having the business, or just sort of a general?
Let's go both. Let's go both. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've learned a fair amount. I think that, as I said, when I've been employed, you haven't got to worry about certain things. And I think obviously when I've started to run the business, you need to know about everything that's going on. So I've learned, thankfully, from my wife who's involved with marketing, I've learned a bit about that side of things. now that obviously I'm in control of things like the cash flow and finances, I've learned a lot from the accountant's perspective, of which I probably wouldn't have had to have got involved with before, and even things like what are we going to do with IT systems and that side of it. So you just get to learn so many different snippets of information that when you're employed you wouldn't have needed to worry about, because you just, if you need a new laptop, you phone IT up and say, look, my laptop's broken, can I have another one? They're like, oh yeah, we'll order you one, no problem. But when my laptop breaks now, I've got to think about, right, okay, which one do I want next? And so it's that you do get to learn so much more about everything, really, and it gives you that broader spectrum of what goes on out there.
What's been the best thing that you've learned? So as a part of your biggest learning, what's been the best thing that you've learned that you've gone, that's just genius?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I think it's, to be honest, it's probably managing the time. I think that's got to be the biggest learning curve for me, is just the fact that I can leave something. I don't need to finish or complete everything, every task, which generally you're not going to be able to do anyway, because there's just so much to do. But I know when the cutoff time is, and I think that's something I've learned over the last few years, more so being in control of the business than perhaps prior to that, when obviously I was director level and that sort of thing, and not having that full control over it. So I think that's probably it. It's time management.
You're not alone there. That's been a big learning for a lot of people, actually. So thank you so much for sharing. Where do you see yourself in 5 years is where I like to end. And most importantly, do you have any words of advice for other business owners who are looking to grow?
So the 5-year plan, yes, not quite set that out yet, but it's probably something that we will be talking about. I think for me, looking back when I first started the business, I didn't think I'd have 4 of us working for it in the 3-year period. I always knew I wanted to bring somebody in or look at that, but yeah, the fact that we've got to 4 of us, I'd like to see it grow more than that. I'd like to see more people join the business, and yeah, absolutely look at that curve of growth going upwards. Perhaps look at a different industry sector, and maybe even something I'm talking about at the moment is possibly international as well. So may have an opportunity to look at growth in the US. It's still sort of early stages with that side of things, but that is something that we could look at, whether that's within the next year or it could be a few years down the line. But certainly don't want it to shrink. Obviously want it to continue to grow over the next few years. And yeah, it would be great to have more people, bigger office space, and yeah, more of a sort of global platform. That would be fantastic. And in terms of advice, just
That would be amazing.
I think just go for it. I think it's absolutely. I think everybody's hesitant when they think, right, what am I going to do next? But if you've got the opportunity, may as well give it a go. What have you got to lose? There's a lot out there. There's so many support networks out there, and there's a lot of good advice. There's knowledge out there, and I think having taken that step, yeah, not look back, not regretted it, and I would say, yeah, go give it an opportunity.
Give it a go. I love that. What a brilliant way to end. Give it a go. Don't look back. There's help and support out there. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Loads of takeaways there. So I can't wait to share it with our community, and I can't wait to catch up with you.
Thank you.